What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our PGA DFS Sleepers show for the 2021 Arnold Palmer Invitational. Craig, before we get to Bay Hill, we had two PGA tournaments last week. We had the WGC in Puerto Rico, and your sleepers look pretty good. You completely nailed Billy Horschel for the WGC. My sleepers were kind of awful. And then Puerto Rico, I mean, we were great throughout.
Yeah, Billy Horschel was a good one. Unfortunately, the rest of our sleepers for WGC weren't great. Some of the
Yeah,
Euros let us down a bit.
yeah.
But yeah, Puerto Rico, man, that was the place to make money last week, that's for sure.
I know. We just needed bigger GPP contests. I mean, we've been rolling in it.
Yeah.
Cameron Percy with a good one. Tom Kim, T15. Yeah, it was good picks.
Yep. Let's keep it going this week.
Keep it going. Our sleepers will be 7,500 and below. This is our 6 of our favorite sleepers, 3 each. We'll talk about the entire field on our Wednesday night show, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. If that's it, Craig, let's jump into our sleepers.
Yeah, just real quick, because I sort of had advocated on our pick show that I'm going studs, and so I think this is a week where these guys, these low sevens, high sixes, mid sixes even, are going to be more important than ever if you're going to take an approach like I am this week.
Yeah, fair enough. I like it.
So yeah, well, who you got first?
I don't know if I have the same strategy. I might go more balanced throughout, but anyways, I thought this guy, I just needed to bring him up. Christiaan Bezuidenhout. He's 7,500 on DraftKings at the very upper limit of our sleepers. He's 32nd on FanDuel. He's a little bit, harder to get at, 9,428. I just feel like it's crazy that he's considered a sleeper. It's crazy that he's under $7,500 on DraftKings. He ranks 15th, so compared to his 32nd price ranking, he ranks 15th in strokes gained total over the past 3 months, plus 1.43. And his last 32 rounds, Craig, he's been under par in 29 of them. Not par or better, under par in 29 of them. That's absolutely absurd run of golf. Like, he is playing so well right now. Looking at
It
Bay
is,
Hill,
but it also, I mean, you'd have to look at what the actual field averages are in those, like
yeah, of course.
it'd be a lot more impressive if that was at Riviera for the last 32 rounds.
Yeah, I hear that. That does include the WGC, so that was a hard
Yeah,
course. But he is coming off a couple of wins late in 2020, so of
yeah.
course he's playing great. But what has he done at Bay Hill before? He was 18th last year in his only previous appearance, but he was 4th entering Sunday. I think I've seen quotes where he was a little bit nervous. He wasn't quite breaking through the PGA Tour events. I think he's collected a couple more wins. I think standing on that second last group on Sunday. I don't think he'll have the same nerves as possibly he had before last year. And then talking about Bay Hill, talking about Florida, talking about Bermuda Greens, he did gain strokes putting in 3 rounds last week. So something that I like for his game to translate all across the world. I think he can play this course great. I think he's just a steal at 7,500.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was one of my sleepers last week I think he might have been 7,200. So I would have thought his price would go up more than it did. I like the pick. He'll be in my player pool, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
Just seems like value.
Yeah.
My first one here, I am going with Luke List. He comes in at 7,200 on DraftKings. That's 42nd most expensive, and 9,000 on FanDuel. That's 36th. So for me, this is one where it is mostly, as opposed to, typically I'm looking at long-term value, people I just think are underpriced.
Yeah.
To me, this is much more of a course history, recent form play. So you look at his last 4 tournaments, he's gone 21st, 10th, 30th, and then cut. That cut, he was one of those ones at the Genesis at Riviera that was on the +1 line that
Oh,
I
yeah.
had ownership of, that I was sweating pretty good because it looked
Yeah.
like the line might move to there. So it was a cut on the number, and the number, he easily could have made the cut there depending on what other golfers did.
There was a lot of hurt feelings that week. Yeah.
Yeah. So in those, over these last 4 tournaments, he's had almost a stroke gain total.
Yeah.
So it played pretty well. Now you compare that to his full 2020-2021 season down at the bottom there. His strokes gain total is almost exactly 0. He's
Right.
plus 0.01, and that's almost entirely due to his very poor putting.
Yeah.
He's gaining 0.89 tee to green and losing 0.89 on the greens.
Doesn't that mean he should be
It's
0?
rounding. It's
It's
rounding.
rounding errors.
Just
Okay, I
just
got
deal
it.
with it.
Got
Just
it.
accept it. Just accept it. But what I really want to point out, so at Bay Hill, his history at Bay Hill, he's got 3 starts here. He's made 3 cuts. He's been 17th, 7th, and 10th in those 3 starts.
Yeah.
And a great strokes gained total at 2.19. But the one that I think is most important is he's gaining about a quarter a stroke putting. Now,
Right.
those have been better than his strokes gained numbers for each of those seasons. So I think, I think he has a good feel for this course. I think he has a good feel for Bermuda greens.
Yeah.
So really what I'm hoping is that we get his tee to green play as we have seen it. And then I think his putting has been, so if you look at his record, his putting, he has about maybe 10 or 15 events rounds
Yeah.
where it's negative, and then the last few it's been a lot more variation, not just negative. There's still a
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
negative
Yeah.
rounds
Yeah.
in there, but
Yeah.
much more what you would expect, that he's not just having bad putting rounds. So I think his form is trending in, his putting getting better, but I also think he's going to a place where he's comfortable putting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's always kind of a DFS play because he can pop for sure. So I like Luke List because of that. And like you, I will be leaning on Bay Hill history as well. I think it will be hard for first timers to kind of crack the top 10, maybe top 15 that we're looking for in GPPs to kind of get that great perfect lineup.
Yep.
But speaking of a ball striker, possibly putting struggles as well, my second sleeper here is Keegan Bradley. And there's probably a lot of people watching this shaking their heads, being like, Adam, you're crazy. Why are you going to Keegan Bradley? But let me tell you why. He's 7,000 on DraftKings, 50th there.
One of them's right here.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. He's 8,400 on FanDuel, 54th. So his ranks over the past 6 months, this is in the field. This is from Data Golf. He's 7th strokes gained tee to green at plus 1.42. He's first in the field in strokes gained approach. Like, he is hitting the ball so well right now at plus 1. And then 114th in strokes gained putting at minus 102. There goes all his approach out the window. So like you said with Luke List, that kind of big kind of under putting, that's kind of what Keegan Bradley's doing. But we were on the West Coast for a bit. We were on the desert for a bit. Now we're in Florida. He's moved to Florida. He's a Florida resident. He has great history at Bay Hill. He has 2 top 5s and 8 straight made cuts. That's an incredible number here. 8 straight, that's an incredible number anywhere. 8 straight made cuts. And over that time, over his history here, I think it's 32 rounds. His strokes gained total is plus 1.15. So, of course, he knows. Of course, he likes, clearly. Maybe if he can just get like semi-decent putting, he can absolutely pop in GPPs. I think he's a great flyer this week. A couple other stats. He does rank 19th in par 5 scoring for the year for the PGA Tour season. That's the entire PGA. I think that is important for these guys to get the scoring. So I don't know. He's a GPP flyer. I'm going to take a shot with Keegan Bradley this week.
Yeah, I don't know for sure whether or not I'll have him. You do make some good points. I just have Keegan Bradley's a hard guy for me to get behind. But
It's a block for a lot of people.
There's a few other people when I was looking through histories at Bay Hill that have very, very longer than you would expect, like 8 straight cuts made or 10 straight cuts made. I think Poulter's one of them, but
right.
it's just something to keep in mind that if we're looking for cuts from these guys who have come out here every year and made cuts, it's definitely someone to look at.
They know how to get around.
Yeah. Okay, my next one here, I am going with Chris Kirk at 7,000. He's 50th on DraftKings, 8,700, 45th on FanDuel. I think this is going to be a fairly chalky sleeper. I think for the people around 7K on DraftKings, he'll be probably the highest owned, just from what I've seen in the betting and DFS community. And also I think people have been getting good results from Chris Kirk, so you'll go back to the well with him.
Absolutely.
So you compare those 50th, 45th ranks. Where does he rank in this field? His strokes gained total, he's plus 0.9, 20th in this field. Tee to green plus 0.74, 23rd in the field. So to me, that's just like, it's just value. I think the reason he'll be high owned is because he looks like he's good value, and I think he is. The other thing that I loved, I mentioned it with Molinari on our picks show yesterday, but he's positive in all strokes gain categories. You don't need to avoid this one
Sure.
aspect of his game that could blow up at any time. So I always like to see that. What has he done recently? He's made the cut in 7 of his last 8, and he's been tied for 16th or better in 3 of his last 4. So, this is where I think there's so much momentum towards playing him, is because people have gotten really good results, whether it's making cuts or whether it's getting high finishes.
Right.
And that includes that awesome second place where he needed it to keep his tour card coming
At
off a
Sony.
medical exemption. So, if there's a guy, if you can quantify the clutch factor, I think that's about as close as you can come.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
He has good history at the course. He's been tied for 16th or better in 4 of his last 7 starts here, and his overall strokes gained through, I believe it's eight times at the course. He didn't play every year, so I didn't count
Right.
all of them, but I think he has 8 total, and this is his total history at the course, and it's almost 3/4 of the strokes gained total. So
Right.
I think he's got a good handle on the course. I think he's in good form, and I think he's just good value at the price.
Yeah, it's one of those sleepers. I mean, we talk about this with sleepers all the time. It's like they're not going to tick every box. Chris Kirk, if you didn't bring him up, he is absolutely going to be a guy I brought up because I love him this week as well. Straight value. He's playing well, good course history, good recent form. Like he just seems to check all these boxes. I'd have to double check this, but I think he has a win in Florida as well, either Corn Ferry or wherever. But yeah, it just makes a ton of sense. And unlike someone at the same price of Keegan Bradley, where you need a good putter to break into the top 20, like you said,
And more than that, you need to avoid the bad putter.
and for at least 2 days to get through the
Yeah,
weekend. Like you need to
yeah,
avoid the bad putter for 2 days.
yeah.
Chris Kirk, like you said, he's green in every category, and that there's a safety with that roster in him.
Yeah, and for the approach I'm taking, I need to find lots of guys down in this price range. So I don't mind taking a guy that's chalkier because I
Yeah.
know I'm going to have other plays I need to make down here.
Speaking of chalky, my last pick, I think a guy that will be a little bit chalky as well, but I just can't ignore the value there. Matt Wallace, he's 6,900 on DraftKings, 55th, 8,600 on FanDuel, 48th, so a little bit better on DraftKings again. Uh, he's the 57th ranked player in the world with 2 top 2s in his past 10 events going back on the European Tour. He's ranked 55th here. Not everyone in the field is here. It seems like it's priced way too low. His record at Bay Hill is excellent. He has a 6 in 2019, a 24th in 2020. That's great results for the first 2 times you've ever been here. So what the problem is, so he does have those 2 top 10s in the past 10 events, but he is coming off 2 straight missed cuts. And that includes the Puerto Rico Open. An alternate field event, a player of his caliber should not be missing the cut at the Puerto Rico Open. I don't know exactly what went wrong there, but I'm okay to just kind of move past that. And I hope that brings his ownership down because people think he's not playing great golf right now. I think that we can excuse 1 tournament or 2 tournaments. I'm okay with that. And looking at his history, he has actually done pretty successful coming off poor performances. He's won coming off, I think, at T39. He's won coming off a missed cut. So he can come and absolutely pop and either get that top 10, that top 5, or even win coming off a missed cut. I'm not too worried about that. Maybe he got to Florida a little bit earlier. I don't know. It just seems like that international player, a veteran that's been around, played the majors, played well. I mean, I think he had a year of school. I want to say in Alabama or somewhere around there. So he's a veteran at 6,900. That just seems that with a good course record, it seems pretty obvious to me.
Yeah, so I haven't done any deep dive into him yet. I am going to look at. I hate the fact he missed the cut last week at the Puerto Rico Open because it's just, missing a cut at Genesis, that's one thing. Missing a cut at
Totally.
the Puerto Rico Open, you kind of expect the people to be, somewhat beaten up on the field
Yeah.
over there. So I do want to have a little look. Did he just have a cold putter? Did he wash a few? I don't know.
Right.
So that's the one thing that I'll do my due diligence on before I make sure I have him in my pool. But yeah, there's tons of upside there.
Yeah.
Like clearly he's someone who has high finishes and has won before, and so there's tons of upside when you can get a guy like that at 6,900.
Yeah, for sure.
My last one here, speaking of people not coming to Bay Hill for the first time and doing well, let's hope that he does. Doug Ghim comes in 6,600, 71st ranked, 7,900 on FanDuel, 74th there.
It wouldn't be a true Grandstand Golf sleeper video without mentioning Doug Ghim.
Yeah,
Craig.
yeah. let's be serious. I'll play this guy every week if I can. It's a pure value play, in my opinion. So looking at what he's done 2020, 2021, he has he's gaining strokes gain total. He's gaining over a stroke, 15th in this field. Strokes gain approach, he's over a half stroke, 15th in this field. Putting, he's 0.37 gained per round. That's 23rd in this field. So there's just oftentimes what I like to see is putting combined with either off the tee or approach, like one of the ball striking stats. If they're doing one of that well and putting, those guys can go on a little bit of a tear where they'll make a lot of birdies in a row or something like that. So to me, I just think you're getting so much value for Doug Ghim at this price. Now, what has he done recently? He's made the cut in 7 of his last 9 tournaments. He's got 5 top 23 finishes in that time, including a tied for 5th at the American Express. So, I'm not overthinking this one. I'm not going in depth into how he's done in Bermuda, anything like that. I just think, and he has done well. He did well at the Bermuda. Bermuda Open Championship.
So you're lying. He has done well here.
Well, that's not even like me looking into his record on Bermuda grasses or anything. It's just, I mean, at the tournament named after, I don't even know if it's named after the grass or if the grass is named after Bermuda. I do know that actually. But regardless, I think Ghim is value. So I need players down in the mid 6s to make my strategy work this week. And so he's definitely someone that's going to see my lineups.
Yeah, 6,600. It seems way too low. I love Doug Ghim this week. I like him most weeks. He's just kind of a rising talent, I think, on the PGA Tour. So at 6,600, it seems. Of course, he's gonna be in my player pool in some way.
Okay, simple as that.
Simple as that. Thank you everybody for watching. Hit that thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to our channel. Anything else to add here, Craig? Catch us on our Wednesday show, 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, live show Wednesday. Also, if you're on Discord, come check out our Discord server. We get a lot of chatter over there, and I think it really picks up once we get into the tournament on Thursday morning.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck this week.
Yeah, take care, guys. See ya.